Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What we're about to discuss is something that could really shake up the NFC South and honestly, the entire NFC landscape. You've probably heard some whispers, some rumors, but today we're diving deep into a scenario that, while not yet official, makes a lot of sense when you look at the current roster moves, draft strategies, and team needs. We're talking about a potential trade that could see Christian Kirk, yes, Christian Kirk, heading to the Atlanta Falcons. And I know what some of you might be thinking, wait, wasn't he just traded to the Houston Texans? Well, that's the official story, but if we're looking at the big picture, the bigger picture, there's a compelling case for why Kirk could still find himself in Atlanta, and it could be a game changer for the Falcons' offense in 2025. Let's start from the beginning. The Texans made their move for Kirk before the NFL draft, and it was a shrewd one. They managed to get him for a 7th-round pick, basically a throwaway pick in terms of draft value. That's a low-cost gamble, especially considering Kirk's talent and production. The Texans, with their relatively deep wide receiver core of Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel, plus John Mechie and Tank Dell, already have a pretty solid set of weapons. They drafted Higgins and Noel in the draft, which suggests that Kirk's role in Houston might be diminishing in importance. It seems like a move made partly as a backup plan, just in case they didn't get their guys in the draft, but now that they have, Kirk's presence becomes less vital. And here's where the Falcons come into the picture. After trading up to select James Pierce Jr., the Falcons found themselves a bit short on draft picks, especially in the later rounds. They needed to bolster their roster, particularly at the wide receiver position. Sure, they already have Drake London and Darnell Mooney, who show promise, but behind them, things get a little murky. Ray McCloud is a decent player, but let's be honest, his production has been underwhelming. He's only gone over 300 yards once in his NFL career, and that was last year at age 28, which is exactly the profile of a breakout star. The point is, the Falcons need a reliable slot receiver, someone who can step in and produce immediately. And that's where Christian Kirk fits perfectly. You see, Kirk has spent most of his career as a slot receiver, running a high percentage of his routes from that position, over 80% in 2024 and around 71% in 2023, according to PFF. He's known for his precise route running, reliable hands, and ability to create separation in tight spaces. For the Falcons, adding Kirk would fill a glaring gap in their offense, giving quarterback Michael Penix Jr., a player with a ton of potential, the kind of weapon he desperately needs. Remember, Penix was the 8th overall pick in the 2024 draft, and he showed flashes last year, even though he missed most of the season due to injury. But when healthy, Penix has that special ability to extend plays and deliver accurate throws, and having a reliable slot target like Kirk could elevate his game significantly. Now let's talk about the numbers, because they really tell the story. In 2023, Kirk had 787 receiving yards over 12 games, which, considering he was often used in the slot, is pretty solid. But his best season came in 2022, when he racked up over 100 yards. That was with Jacksonville, and it showed what he can do when given a full season and consistent targets. If the Falcons could bring him in, he'd immediately become their WR3, filling a vital role and taking some pressure off London and Mooney. Plus, with the Falcons having already invested in Penix, they should be looking to surround him with as many weapons as possible. Kirk, with his experience and skill set, would be the perfect addition, an immediate upgrade that could help the Falcons push for a playoff spot in 2025. And let's not forget the division implications. The NFC South has been a competitive division lately, with teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints, and Carolina Panthers all vying for dominance. The Falcons have been steadily building, and a move like acquiring Kirk could give them that extra edge. It's about adding talent, yes, but also about sending a message to the division that the Falcons are serious contenders. With a potent offense that now includes London, Mooney, and potentially Kirk, defenses would have a tough time slowing down Atlanta's passing game. And if Penix continues to develop and plays at the level he flashed last year, this offense could be one of the most dynamic in the league. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical. After all, Kirk was just traded to the Texans, right? But this is the NFL, and things can change quickly. Teams are always looking for that extra piece, that missing link, and a seventh-round pick for a player of Kirk's caliber is a no-brainer for a team like Atlanta, which has been steadily improving on both sides of the ball. The Falcons have the draft capital and the cap space to make a move, and if they do, Kirk would be a perfect fit, especially given his familiarity with the slot role and the style of offense that Arthur Smith has been building. In terms of strategy, this move would also make sense for the Falcons from a financial perspective. Kirk's contract, relative to his production, is manageable, and bringing him in wouldn't strain the cap. Plus, it would give the Falcons a versatile weapon that can be used in various formations and situations, making their offense less predictable. With Kirk on board, defenses would have to account for his quickness and route running, which would open up more opportunities for London and Mooney down the field. It's about creating a balanced attack that keeps defenses honest and gives Penix the weapons he needs to succeed. Looking ahead, the Falcons' offseason plans should consider this kind of move seriously. The draft gave them some good pieces, but adding a proven veteran like Kirk, especially for such a low cost, could be the final piece of the puzzle. It's about maximizing their chances to compete now, not just building for the future, but doing everything possible to make a playoff run in 2025. And considering the current odds, FanDuel has Atlanta with -184 to make the playoffs. It's clear that the momentum is already behind them. Adding Kirk could be that final boost that pushes them over the edge, helps them secure a high seed, and gives them that extra confidence heading into the postseason. Of course, all of this is speculation for now, but it's grounded in a lot of logical reasoning. The NFL is a league where circumstances change fast, and a smart team always keeps its options open. The Falcons, with their young core and an emerging quarterback, are in a prime position to make bold moves this offseason. Bringing in Christian Kirk would not only be a smart strategic move, but also send a message to the division, to their fans, and to the league that Atlanta is serious about competing at the highest level. So, Falcons fans, what do you think? Could this be the move that propels your team into real playoff contention? Would Kirk be the perfect slot weapon for Penix and the offense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions. And remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis, so stay tuned for everything Atlanta Falcons. This team has a bright future, and with a little bit of luck and some smart moves, 2025 could be the year we see Atlanta back in the spotlight, competing for that elusive Super Bowl banner. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, keep the faith, Falcons fans. This is just the beginning of what could be an exciting ride ahead.